Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of The Man About Town. I'm John W., and I will be your host for this evening. It's Oscar night tonight, a most appropriate time for tonight's feature. For this cast, we will be taking an all-too-brief look at that one-of-a-kind SoCal city and American institution. That town like no other. The town that put the tin in tinsel. The town that forever put the la-la in L.A. Yep, you guessed it, Hollywood. It began pretty much like other towns and communities at the time, as a Spanish land grant in the Cahuenga Valley near the town of Los Angeles, which became Rancho Los Feliz. It and other ranches would eventually be bought and subdivided into the new communities springing up around Los Angeles. In 1886, an enterprising developer named H. Wilcox bought a subdivided parcel crossed by Prospect Street, which he and his wife named Hollywood. He paved over Prospect Street and renamed it Hollywood Boulevard. So began his master plan of a luxury residential community, catering to wealthy Easterners and Midwesterners hungry for a climate deserving of their wealth and quality. The community thrived at first and was incorporated as the City of Hollywood in 1903. But the burgeoning growth soon ran the wells dry, and they had to look to nearby Los Angeles for now vitally needed water. A deal could not be agreed upon, and the new city was forced to annex and become part of Los Angeles in 1910. It may have remained one of many luxurious but otherwise ordinary and undistinguished communities, but for a little pair of inventions by Thomas Edison that would later be known as the motion picture camera and the motion picture projector. The new entertainment medium it created, motion pictures, or movies for short, took America and the Western world by storm. Scores of motion picture studios sprang up, many near Rochester, New York, home of the Kodak Film Company. Most were doing newsreels or short stage productions. Feature-length motion location-based films were largely impractical with the limited scenery and climate, and other areas were soon sought out for this type of filmmaking. In 1911, one budding filmmaker, David Horsley, bought the old Blondo Tavern at Sunset and Gower in Hollywood and opened up the Nestor Film Company. Others quickly followed, as they soon learned that Southern California, with its year-round sunny climate and diverse terrains and other climates just hours away, was an ideal place to shoot just about any kind of film year-round. With the arrival of D.W. Griffith and Cecil B. DeMille, Hollywood and nearby communities such as Burbank and Culver City became the center for the entire American movie industry. Then the fun began. As the center of an industry based upon actors, scripts, stage sets, fiction, fantasies, and dreams, the culture and even the very structure of the city began taking on the qualities of the industry it hosted. Buildings, public and private, began looking like overblown stage sets. Clothing, fashions began looking like costumes from some mushroom-induced hallucination. Actors became mayors, supervisors, and other public officials, shaping and scripting the city's image and operation. Some even became de facto civilian officials, whose opinion one day could become city policy the next. The storybook era of fantasy often mutated into a distortion of scale and a fogging of perspective. Ordinary parties and celebrations became pageants and parades. The premieres of even the most trivial of B-movies became events rivaling the crownings of kings. The slightest sneeze or hiccup of a major star became the cause of Stop the Press's news flashes. And there were the dark times when the sets and lights came tumbling down. The framing of Fatty Arbuckle, the Hays Commission, the Hollywood Blacklist, the car crash decapitation of Jane Mansfield, the Tate LaBianca murders, the Michael Jackson scandals, and the tragic and controversial death of Marilyn Monroe. But in our own collective and personal dark times, even when the tinsel was at its most tarnished, Hollywood was there to lift us up from the dumps. We could escape from the depression with Shirley Temple, temper our temperance with the Marx Brothers, write out WW2 with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, brush off the bomb test dust with Abbott and Costello, escape from the riots with Jerry Lewis, travel to distant worlds with George Lucas, and to different times with Robert Zemeckis. Hollywood has often come under fire for its frivolity, hubris, scandals, excesses, bogus pomp, and countless other faults, and not undeservedly so. As influences and role models for people of all ages, and as a frequent first impression of America for the rest of the world, Hollywood has all too often been our greatest embarrassment and disappointment. But ultimately, Hollywood is what we make it. We shape it with our own choices of which movies to see or not to see. With each ticket or video we've purchased or don't purchase, we vote yay or nay to what it is, and so help to shape what it will be. Something to think about the next time we open up our wallets and pocketbooks at the box office or video counter. Loved, hated, ignored, obsessed, tragic, plastic, spastic, shallow, and profound. Phony, super coney, screwy, and ballyhooey. It's all that and more. But then, that's Hollywood. And that's our feature for this evening. We invite you back soon for another installment from The Man About Town.